Wait a moment, just a moment.
Yeah.
A few moments later.
Okay, Ashwani, here. Sorry, here I am.
Yeah.
So, some weeks ago, I did a special talk on my Instagram suggesting for tour guides.
Namaste, Lorenzo.
Hello,
Welcome
Ashwani.
to the tourism story. Hello. Welcome to the tourism story. And everyone, today I have Lorenzo with me. And Lorenzo, I'm very thankful to you for giving me your time. It's a pleasure. It's an honor to have you here. It's a very big deal to talk to you. So thank you very much for joining with me.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. So we'll begin with your introduction, and I would like to tell everybody that, and everybody knows, those who are in the tourism industry, they know that in 2017 you were listed as among the best tour guides in the world by the Telegraph, and you are an art historian, very famous art historian from Lombardy and Italy. So that's how we know you. Please tell us, how do you see yourself?
Well, I'm still describing myself as an art historian. I mean, I was born as an art historian. I mean, I have a degree in art history, and I'm still working as an art historian. I'm still writing books, doing research. But as soon as I took my degree, it was 16 years ago, I immediately figured out that nowadays in Italy, you cannot live on art history. I mean, your books don't pay your bills, and you cannot live on it. So I decided to took my official license as a tour guide, and I started sharing my knowledge with visitors coming to the area where I live, which is not that very famous area. I mean, everyone, when thinking about Italy, is thinking about Rome, Venice, Florence, and I live in a small town, but with a lot of art. So I have many stories to tell, and so I decided to turn my passion into a full-time job.
Yeah. So tell us about your childhood. You were born in, I think, 1978 in Mantua, Lombardy, and you went to high school there, and then you learned English. So there was a process. So please take us through that from your childhood and then traveling to Europe and other parts of the Europe, and how did you learn English and other things?
I was born in 1978 in this area where I'm still living, and then I had a very common childhood. I mean, going to school, and then on when I was in secondary school, I decided to focus on how do you call them? I think humanities studies. So I was studying Latin and ancient Greek. And during the summertime, I used to go to Britain to improve my English, attending summer schools in London and so on. So every summer, I used to spend 1 month in Great Britain. Then at the university, I decided to study art history. So I moved to Venice, and I lived in Venice for 5 years. And I think it was the best time of my life, party every night. And
college is the best time.
I learned really a lot about art history and history. But unfortunately, when you take, now the things have changed, but at that time, when you were studying art history, you were not studying any foreign foreign language.
Yeah.
So I almost completely lost my English speaking. And so after the university, when I decided to start a career as a tour guide, I started attending private lessons. And I was very lucky because my private teacher, is a wonderful person.
Yeah.
Her name is Ma. She is a former British opera singer, but when she career, she decided to move from Britain to Italy, and she started a new career as a private teacher. And I mean, I started being her student.
Did she teach you about art or things related to art and English or something like that?
No, actually, when I was attending my lessons with Margaret, we were just, improving the English language. But then I visited so many exhibitions and museums in Britain. My library of art catalogs in English, so I was starting to learn more specific terms about art in English. And still nowadays, I mean, I visit Britain quite often, usually twice or three times a year. And so I try to keep my language updated. And of course, I'm watching a lot of television, TV shows in English, art documentary to keep, the knowledge of the artistic terms alive.
Yeah, that's good. So we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. It's a good thing. How different is it to learn English from a normal English tuition teacher and then to learn from an opera singer?
Well, my teacher, Margaret, used to be in all the very posh and stylish circles and dinners and parties. So she speaks a very high level English. And being an opera singer, I mean, she was born in Scotland, but she studied to remove the Scottish accent. So this was very good for me because, and she gave me a lot of tips about, I mean, she traveled all around the world. During her career, she was in the Americas. And so she was really able to teach me some important tricks about the difference between the American English and the British English, and then the English that people speak in Australia. So the most important thing, for example, is to focus on consonants as vowels changes and the accent changes, but the consonants are always the same. So this really helps you in understand people speaking American English, British English, Canadian English, Indian English, and so on.
Wow, that's great. That's great. You did very good in your examinations. You scored high marks and then you were very good in your studies. So is it important to be good in studies and then to be a tour guide or to be a art historian, or you can be just average student and you can be a better while guiding the tours?
Okay. I got it. So, about tour guiding, every country has different rules. Sometimes every region or every city has different rules. So here in Italy, before starting your job as a tour guide, you have to pass an exam and take a license. And of course, one of the topics of the examination to become a tour guide is art history. So in my case, it was quite easy as I already had a very, very strong art history background. And so, I mean, for me, that portion of the exam was like, having a cup of tea or a glass of whiskey. But of course, you study because in the exam to become a tour guide, I mean, the questions are not just about art history, but the questions are also about the typical local food or the nature. I mean, the animals and the trees and the flowers that are growing in that area. And of course, you have to learn, you have to study also all the laws and the rules about the tourism system. So yes, it was easy for me to pass the exam on the art history field, but I had to study quite a lot to be able to answer the other questions about nature and food and typical wines and all the laws about tourism.
Yeah. Okay. And you got your license in 2006. Am I right?
Exactly.
Yeah, 2006, and it's been more than 14 years now, and you have guided many colleges, MPs, famous singers, and other famous personalities. Do you remember your first tour?
Well, I don't have that strong memory of my very first one. I mean, maybe it was just a school trip, and an elder colleague of mine was following me. You know, you take a license, but then you start to work with other guys. Because, of course, then you have your license, then you have your knowledge, but this is just the beginning of the whole thing, because then you have to learn, for example, the way to manage time. I mean, they say you have to show all this palace in 1 hour, and so in the beginning you are not that good in keeping the time and so on. These are skills that you learn when you are doing the things. For example, your clients booked a 4-hour tours with a walking tour of the city center, but then if it is pouring rain, of course you have to change the program. So these all are things that you learn when you work a lot. So practice.
Any particular first tour do you remember? Do you think that was my first tour alone, and that's what you remember? Any one tour at the beginning? No?
No, I don't. Well, I remember my very first guided tour in English.
Okay.
And that was really,
Okay. So before that, you were doing in Italian?
Yes, the first one, I mean, for the first year, I was just working in Italian. I had my license for guiding in Italian and English, because, of course, when you do your exam, you also have to, pass an examination about your knowledge of a foreign language. In some regions of Italy, it's mandatory to have 2 languages. Here in Lombardy is just 1. So for the first year, I say, okay, I'm just focusing on Italian tours. Then I say, well, I can start doing with the English ones. And the first booking I had for an English guided tour, yes, I had that booking from this company that deals with, American universities. So it was just a group of scholars, professors, and students. And I was so excited because, I mean, it was not just a little group of visitors, but all of them were art historians, as I am. So I was super, excited, and I think it went very, very well. As nowadays, after 16 years, 14 years, that company is still hiring me every year for it. So,
so it went really well,
This company that I want to mention is the International Senior Design, and they were my clients in English, and I will be always grateful to them.
Wow, that's great. So moving ahead, continuing with this, that you did your first tour. During all these years, was there any particular challenging tour you faced?
Yes. Shall I tell you
Yeah.
the truth?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So, um, I am a tour guide, but for several years, I also work for a big company here in Italy, which is
Yeah.
organizing travel shows, travel events. Like I think you have in India, you have the Satte, which is this
Yeah, yeah,
big.
yeah. Okay.
So I was working for
Yeah,
a very
big
senior
event.
here in Italy, and so
Yeah.
I was really in charge to follow all the travel agents that were going in fun trips around Italy to see venues, restaurants, hotels, and so on. So at that point, I was not working as a tour guide, but as a tour leader. And the most
Yeah.
challenging and funny and unforgettable trip was with a big group of Indian travel agents.
Wow.
I was
Okay.
showing them not monuments, but I mean, it was a fun trip. So we were going to see hotels, restaurants, venues, so that they can sell the Italian destinations on the Indian markets.
Yeah.
And quite naughty. I mean, partying every night, always late at
Yeah.
breakfast. But after a
Yeah.
week, after that very, very challenging week, I was so fond of them
Yeah.
because, of course, going partying with them every night that nowadays I'm
Yeah.
still in some of them and I can call them good friends of mine. So
Yeah.
really, I mean, that group of Indian travel agents have a very special place in my heart. So it was
Wow. That's
challenging, it's
yeah.
unforgettable.
Wow. That's really cool. That's a good experience with Indians.
Yeah.
And yeah. So I'll tell you, I want to add my story to the same context. So why I moved into tourism is because of a young lady. She was from Italy, and I forgot exactly where she's from, but she's Italian, and she was volunteering. I was volunteering at Gandhi Ashram, where Gandhi used to live, and she was also volunteering there. I met her there, and then I came to know that she's a tour guide, and that's when I decided to be a tour guide after knowing her. So she was the changing point in my life. Yeah. And right now,
Yeah.
I mean, we are still in touch, and right now she is doing her uh, Camino de Santiago entire tour of that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So you
So
see,
that's my experience.
sometimes you meet some people in your life that are crucial meetings that can change
Yeah.
your vision of the world, your desire, your vision of your own life, and it's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. Obviously, yeah. That totally changed everything in my life. Yeah. After meeting her. Yeah. It was a breakthrough for me. So, is there any particular day of a tour or anything you want to change in your tour, which you were doing a tour and then something might went wrong and you want to change it? Today you recall it and you want to change it. Is there something?
Oh, well, I mean, nowadays, of course, I am completely out of job. I mean, with COVID-19,
Yeah,
all the all the travel industry is
yeah,
blocked, stopped, and I'm not working that much. So I'm not complaining about any aspect of my job, as I am missing nowadays also the challenging moments. So I really don't want
yeah,
to, I just want my bookings, my clients, and my job back. I mean, I'm missing it so much.
Yeah.
At this time of the year, I am out for dinner with clients every night. I am out of the house every single day of the week. You know, when you are a tour guide, this is very important. You don't have Saturdays or Sundays.
No,
you are
no,
always working when the other people are on vacation. And this could be quite frustrating. I mean, I have lost so many occasions to have dinners and picnics with my friends on Italian bank holidays, as of course I was working when all the people were having fun. But I love it. So it's okay for me. I mean,
it's your passion.
you work on Saturday and Sundays, and then you are free on a Monday when everybody is busy. So, I mean, it's important to have good relations with your colleagues because their agendas are like yours. And so they are free on Mondays as you are. And so you can go and part with them.
Yeah. Of course. Even I'm missing the work which I used to do. So it's definitely a big thing to get back to work. And we'll continue. So being an art historian and being a tour guide, do you take pride in what you are doing in your life?
Yes. I'm very proud. I'm very happy because I'm always saying that knowledge is nothing when you don't share it with other people. And so I made my passion for sharing knowledge with other people. So I'm very, very satisfied with this, and I'm very, very proud. Yes, I am.
Wow, that's beautiful report. So is there something right now you're struggling in your life other than the pandemic? Or if there was something you were struggling before pandemic?
Of course, I'm struggling about the bad situation with this pandemic, as I mentioned before. But I took this time to work on other things. For example, during the pandemic days, I have been cataloging every single book of my library, more than 1,200. So I put all my books in order and all my ideas in order. And I'm nowadays trying to work a lot on my social media. I think that social medias and social networks are very, very important in promoting culture, promoting tourism. So I have been working on Instagram. I've been on Instagram for many years nowadays, but now I'm trying to bring the level of my Instagram on an higher point. And this is challenging and struggling me because it's not that easy. I mean, things are constantly changing. Just this morning, we had this new feature on the Instagram, which is Reels. And I don't know if it's already available in India. So now
we have.
I was working on my Instagram stories. I was working on my IGTV. And now I have to think of what to do with Reels and so on. But I think that social networks are very important in order to reach new clients, but also in order to build a network of colleagues all around the world. I am a member of some communities of tour guides that are worldwide, so it's so good to, speak with other professionals that are doing the same job, but in a different part of the world, as we can exchange tips opinions,
idea.
and maybe clients. So
What kind of content are you going to share with us on social media?
well, I'm going to share, of course, beautiful views of my town, of the area where I work, and sometimes I also work as a micro influencer. So, I am invited to venues, to museums, to show people what is in that museum, what is in that private house, open to the visitors for the very first time in the history. So I will share beauty, I will share story, and but I'm always starting, to think about sharing tips for tour guides about how to be a better tour network. And I have already done it in Italian, but maybe I could do it also in English. So keep following me.
Yeah. I'll be waiting for that. I'll be definitely, and many people will be waiting for that for sure. Yeah. So I would like to ask few more things, and the first one is how many books? I think 1,200 books. You have answered that. You have read around 1,200 books, maybe more. But how much time do you spend on books and then watching video documentaries? How much time are you spending on them these days, or in a normal life? How much time were you giving?
I mean, I'm constantly trying to improve my knowledge. So I'm reading a lot, I'm watching a lot of documentaries, and well, it really depends on the amount of free time that you have. Working as a tour guide, usually you have the peak season and then you have the low season when you are more free to study and so on. But I would say that yes, it's about 2 books a month.
Okay.
And of course, I'm always buying the catalog of the exhibitions I go to visit. So that is extra reading. But
That's a lot of
when
reading.
when you do this job, you never actually stop learning and studying. It's constant.
Yeah. As a tour guide, we never stop learning.
And we are also learning from our clients, because each client has a story, and you can learn. I remember some of my clients told me that in Austria there are some palaces very similar to the ones I'm showing them here in Mantua, in my town in Italy. And then I started saying, how is this? And so I made some research and I discovered that the architect who built that palace in Austria came to visit Italy looking for inspiration. So you see, your clients are always giving you some tips to go deeper in your knowledge.
What is your typical day like? How does your day start and how does it end when you are on a tour?
You mean my daily routine?
A typical tour day, when you have a tour on a particular day, so how it is like?
Well, it really depends on the kind of clients you have and on the season you are working. Here in this area, for example, we have a lot of school trips in the springtime. I'm not that fond of children, but you have to work with them. So usually those kind of tours are just 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, and you can do maybe 4 or 5 tours per day. Visits to. So that kind of day is wake up quite early, go in the old town, find a parking space for your area, go to the palace, and then start doing one tour, the second tour, the third tour, eat a sandwich, and then do other tours in the afternoon. But when I'm working with my my beloved private tours, well, that's different.
Yeah.
So usually I go and meet my clients at the hotel in the lobby, or maybe I have breakfast with them, and then we start from the hotel with a walking tour. I go to the restaurant for them, we lunch, then usually they go back to the hotel for a rest after lunch, and we meet again in the afternoon. And quite often we are having also dinner together. So in that kind is a full day out of your house and at disposal of your clients, not 24 hours per day, but something like that.
Yeah, and it is very tiring.
Yeah, but of course, when you are offering this kind of tailor-made service, you can ask for more money, and usually
Yeah.
clients that want this kind of service are good tippers. So you have your income, and quite often you have a very good tip. So I like it.
Yeah. And it's tiring, and you have to be on your toes throughout the day. So, what do you talk about? Do you want to talk about it? How much energy do you have to put while you are on a
Well,
tour?
a lot of energy. This is why you need
Yeah.
a lot of peace.
Yeah.
And yes, Ashvani, I mean, can be challenging, mostly when you have tours like that, like 5 or 6 days a week.
And it is the same thing you are doing every day, is it? You are
Yeah,
repeating the same tour every day.
I mean, usually this very intense season is about June, July, September, and
Yeah.
then in the other month it slows down. But when you are in the good season, you have to work. It's our job. We do it. We do it with passion, and then we can relax in winter time. And in winter time, we can become tourists as well, going around the
Yeah.
world.
You can
Summer and
come to India.
in summer and spring, you are working 7 days a week and a lot of hours per day. But I love
Yeah.
it. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I am not
Yeah.
in a I am not working hard physically. I am in beautiful places with art all around me, nice people that loves art as they come here to see it. So it's nice. It's not, I mean, it's art, but it's nice. So it's okay.
It's beautiful art.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, what are the things you like most and you'd like least about your work?
Well, what I like is what I mentioned. I mean, doing this job, I am constantly in contact with history, with art, with beauty. I can meet nice people from all around the world, and this is super good. What I don't like about this job is, of course, that you are constantly on duty on bank holidays,
Yeah.
and sometimes you have to deal with difficult clients.
Yeah.
And I mean, something that is really challenging me nowadays, I mean, at this time, I mean, before COVID, was the fact that I am also offering food tours. And you know about
Yeah.
food tours, as you told me that you are providing food tours as well.
Yeah.
And what is difficult nowadays with food tours is to find, an agreement between the owner of the restaurant or the grocery store about the price, because they want to earn money and you want to earn money, so you have to find a good balance on the
Yeah.
price. And then nowadays, food can be quite difficult because of all those allergies, no milk, no fat, no meat. And I remember giving a food tour to to a family from Israel, and they really wanted to taste all the typical local food. Now, in this area of Italy, there are between 8 and 9 pigs for every human being. There are more pigs, and pork meat is a huge, I mean, pork meat is everywhere. So it was not easy for me to find local food without pork meat. That is something that my clients from Israel didn't want to eat. So, you know, with all these restrictions, also with that trip I had with those Indian travel agents, food was quite difficult because some of them were not eating pork meat, some of them were not beef meat, some of them were not eating anything that was coming from animals, so also egg pasta was not allowed. And thanks the Lord, we have pizza with just tomato sauce on it, and that was saving all the dinners. So pizza is a great tours.
Yeah. So I want to ask you a very serious question, and that is, what does it take to be a successful tour guide?
So what is important to be a successful tour guide is to keep your clients always happy. I mean, remember that the satisfaction of the clients is the main core of your business. So sometimes it happens that, I mean, I could talk about art for hours, but when I see that the clients start to be annoyed, I immediately change the level of the discussion. I turn on more light topics and I say, oh, let's go for a gelato. I mean, happy clients are the most important thing, because then they will mention your name to their friends, they will give you a good review, and this will improve your reputation and will help your business a lot. So the main tip, the main suggestion I can give is go always focusing on the satisfaction of the clients. Make them feel they are the special ones. Make your clients feel like they are VIP. And this will pay, because they will tell everybody that you are a very good guide and you'll have more clients.
So adding to this, also tell us few more things, skills or books or any resource which a young tour guide should go through, or your suggestion for a young tour guide that this is the things they should at least work on. Skills like storytelling or art history or any other history or anything, please suggest us.
So there are several books you can read. Wait a moment, just a moment.
A few moments later.
Okay, Ashwani, here, sorry. Here I am. So, some weeks ago, I did a special talk on my Instagram suggesting for tour guides. So I have ready here for you. So a very good book. How to be a tour guide. It's in English. It's full of good tips. And then another one is this: sell more tours. So I suggest these two books to every guide, every person that wants to start a job as a tour guide. And then you have also this one, oversubscribed.
Yeah.
This helps you to learn how to promote your business in order to look like the best option on the market. And I have also, this one is good, managing oneself.
Yeah.
And then the other two suggestions is A Butler's Guide to Entertaining and A Butler's Guide to Table Manners. And these were very useful because, as I mentioned, quite often I go to lunch or dinner with my friends, with my clients. So these two books are very, very useful because, you know, about, for example, table manners. Italian table manners are different from the British ones. And so as I want to work a lot with British clients, this guide from a British butler is very useful for me because I can learn what is good to do at table with British. So I would suggest to read a lot, not just about tour guiding, but also about the culture of the country whose citizens you want to be your clients.
Yeah. Right. That's great. That's great. Thank you for sharing this much. It's very big help you are giving us. I mean, that's a very big help you have just offered us. And I would like to talk about your books. I think you have published 2 or 3 books. Would you like to tell us about that?
Well, I have published many, many things. I mean, I've published some books about art history, and then dozens and dozens of articles in art magazines. And I am actually writing a book at the moment about Instagram and tour guides. So with tips.
Wow.
Yes, this was my lockdown project. I mean, I was here in the house for a month without going out. So say, let's write something, but it's going to be long because social media are constantly evolving. So every time you write a thing, then Instagram changes the rule, and so you have to change the whole chapter. So at the moment I'm writing, and I don't know what I will do with this book. Maybe it will become a blog or a series of videos, but I'm writing also not just about art history, but also about social media.
Yeah, I'll be waiting for this one now.
It will be in Italian, so you have to learn Italian.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. So your English is not your mother tongue, it's not your native language. Then you learn English over the time, and now you are doing your tours in English, and you are doing writing in English and talking on videos in English. So there are people like I'm from India, so we are Hindi speaking nation and other language as well. So is there something you want to share with people, with those whose native language is not English and they have to learn other language and then do guiding in that language? So is there something you want to share about that?
Well, of course, I mean, if you have to decide to learn a new language in order to work as a tour guide, my suggestion would be, first of all, check what's the nationality of the visitors traveling in that area. For example, where I live, we have a lot of German visitors, and I don't speak any German. My colleagues speaking German have a lot of clients, and sometimes more than me. So it would be better if I learn German, but I am too busy doing other stuff. But I can work with German clients, as quite often they speak English. The difficult ones are the French people, as French usually don't speak any other language. They speak English. So if you have a lot of French visitors in your area, would be a good option to learn French. Nowadays, here in Italy, we have a big increasing of Russian visitors. So also Russian would be a very good option as a new language. But of course, I mean, it's more difficult. I mean, for Italian native speaking people, it's more easy to learn Spanish, Portuguese, French, as we have, you know, a common alphabet. All our languages are Latin, so there are sister tongues, sister languages. It would be much more difficult for me to learn German or Russian or Chinese or Japanese or Hindi. So it's better to try to focus on those languages that are easier to be learned for you.
So there are a lot of questions I want to ask, and respecting your time, I would like to ask just last question. It is a personal question and further as well, other people as well. So there are two things. We can, as a guide, we can do two things. There we have limited resources, limited time. So either we can learn a language and be a better guide, be a better language guide, or either we can learn some specialization like you are in history and art. So what should we do, and how should we choose between our language and then learning something special like art, food, or heritage? This is my last question.
You should do both. You should do both things. You should do. Yeah. But if you have to choose, I would say try to learn history a lot. But a good, I can give you a tip about this. I mean, I think that a very good way to improve on both the fields is to study that topic in the language you want to learn.
Okay.
So this is why we have plenty of art books in English, because in them I am improving my knowledge of art history and my knowledge of English. So my suggestion is study the things you like in the language you want to learn.
Wow, that's a very good one. That's a very good one. I would like to end it here. Otherwise, I will take a lot of time of your, and I would be very happy if we join again and talk about it more someday, else some other day. So wonderful. It was a wonderful experience talking to you. I'm very thankful for you to giving me your time. That was a very big, many tips you shared and a very big insight from your personal experiences. So I'm very thankful to you, and I'm sure people will find it useful. Please tell us how they can find you.
So I have a website. My website is www.visitmantua.it. I'm doing a lot of social media, mostly on Instagram. So people can find me at Lord Bonoldi. And I'm also on Facebook. My personal profile is Lorenzo Bonoldi. And maybe I will open new channels, but I will keep you posted. So the main channel is Instagram.
Yeah, and I'll share all the links in the bio and of the video, and I'll also share about the books you just mentioned, so that people can go through.
I will send you a list of the titles so that you can put all the information. Okay?
Yeah, that would be a great help. Yeah. So thank you, Lorenzo, and namaste.
Namaste.